Our study of the ages of globalization starts at the very beginning. That is, at the beginning of humanity, at the beginning of modern human beings, or Homo sapiens. Homo is the genus of our species, and sapiens is the specific species. It means wise. We try to be wise. Sometimes we're not so wise, but certainly Homo sapiens were a breakthrough of the Homo genus, of a great ape genus that developed tremendous cranial capacity and cognitive capacity, unique capacity for language, for rational planning, for social cooperation. And those are the biophysical traits that marked modern humanity and that enabled modern humanity to spread from its origins in Africa to the entire world. Our story starts in an ancient period that geologists know as the Pleistocene, a period of the previous Ice Age, and anthropologists know as the Paleolithic era, or the Old Stone Age. We could start the story even before Homo sapiens, when ancestors of modern Homo sapiens, other hominins, inhabited Earth and were continuing to evolve into what would be modern human beings. Homo erectus, for example, was an ancient hominin that roamed the earth already 2 million years ago. And Homo habilis, the Homo genus with ability, was a tool-making hominin that is essentially an ancestor of modern Homo sapiens. While there is still scientific debate and uncertainty about the precise lineage through which evolution produced modern humans, anatomically modern Homo sapiens, it is generally supposed that this evolution took place between 600,000 years ago and 300,000 years ago in Africa, so that by around 300,000 years before the present, the first Homo sapiens were living in Africa. And those Homo sapiens migrated, and already perhaps around 120,000 years ago, some of the anatomically modern humans migrated from East Africa and crossed into Asia. We find in anthropological sites evidence of these very early humans. There were clearly a series of migrations out of Africa around 120,000 years ago, maybe more around 100,000 years ago or 80,000 years ago. But it seems likely that small groups of anatomically modern humans reached places such as today's Israel or other places in Arabia or in the Eastern Mediterranean region, but did not survive. What the best genetic evidence suggests is that modern humans, all of us, our ancestors, for everybody on the planet, originated in a great dispersal from East Africa beginning around 70,000 years ago. We have a common heritage, a common home in Africa, a common genetic lineage, what is called a monogenesis, that humanity, modern humans came once in evolution in East Africa, and around 70,000 to 50,000 years ago, modern humans began to spread across the world, creating the first age of globalization. And that first age of globalization is shown in this artistic rendering in a map that explores the movements of early moderns in the geologic age called the Pleistocene during the Ice Age, as modern humans dispersed across Asia, reaching Australia 45 to 60,000 years ago, precise dates uncertain, reaching Europe perhaps 40 to 50,000 years ago, and by crossing Asia and then crossing the landmass that connected Asia with the Americas during the Pleistocene era, when the sea level was much lower because so much of the water of the earth was impounded in the great glaciers during the Ice Age. Humans migrated across Beringia, the landmass connecting Asia and the Americas, and began to settle the Americas. Again, date uncertain. It could be 15,000 years ago, and some anthropologists believe that it is as early as 25,000 years ago. But no doubt there was a great migration from Asia to the Americas. The story then is of the very first globalization, the first age that we will call the Paleolithic age. This is the age of early moderns. This is the age of early modern humans who populated all parts of the earth during the Ice Age period. And the occupation of all of those early modern humans was to stay alive through hunting and gathering, that is, as foraging species, on the move, finding food, and migrating to locations and learning how to hunt, to fish, to gather fruits and vegetables and other edible plants that they found along the way. Of course, they had technologies, and one of the most crucial technologies was the ability to control fire. Using fire for cooking, using fire for managing landscapes, using fire for safety in keeping their settlements clear of other dangers. But the management of fire was one of the earliest technologies, and it's fitting that in the great Greek myth of Prometheus, where the god Prometheus gives humans their power of technology, Prometheus's gift is the power of fire. Other technologies of these Paleolithic early modern humans was the knowledge of what kinds of edible plants could be eaten, because some would kill and others would provide sustenance. And of course, how to hunt, how to fish, how to harvest the sustenance from nature. This first era of globalization sets the pattern for the world because humanity spreads across the world. Migration is a basic feature of our reality, and the most important lesson of the first age of globalization is that we are one humanity. We are one species that emerged in evolutionary history from one great dispersal from our common home in Africa and spread from that common home to inhabit the world. It is that common humanity which is our most important defining reality and our greatest hope, in fact, for our ability to cooperate and to find peace on the planet, because we really are one family.